So one of the things to be considered here, this handheld here has a 1600p screen, which is awesome because it's a larger screen and it's designed to be a 2-in-1. So for gaming, that's going to have advantages and disadvantages. And an advantage, it's going to mean that you're going to have incredible crisp imagery, obviously. And a disadvantage is it's harder to run. Now, in the vast majority of games that exist, I mean, because most games are not 2026 modern release, AAA titles, you can run 1600p native, have no problems whatsoever. If you get into games that are modern and are not as hard to run as well, 1600p native, you're then going to get into games that are going to be harder to run, really, really hard to run games at 1600p modern AAA super demanding games, and then you just do some scaling. Here we go, no AA, just turn off scaling for now, and no AA, just make sure it's not working. And we'll come down here, we're on medium. So this is 1600p native. So 1600p native. We are at full watts here, but we're at 1600p native, right? It's awesome. And no scaling, right? So as I said, there's going to be a lot of games out there that you're going to be able to play 1600p, and you're going to be playing 1600p native without any problems whatsoever. There's going to be a lot of games you can do that with a GPU of this power. If you get into a situation where you can't run it at 60 FPS and you want to play it at 60 FPS, then you can either use scaling or you can turn down the resolution to 1200p. But again, most games are not Borderlands 4, right? The vast majority of games are not Borderlands 4. This is Apex, 60 FPS native. We're on medium, but it's native at 1600p, not 1200p. So some people are going to watch this video to get information on how the G3E runs in general, right, at 35 watts in different wattages, and other handhelds, 1X handhelds, maybe the OneXPlayer 3. But a lot of you guys are interested in this actual handheld, so we're going to test, obviously, the resolution that this handheld is designed for. I mean, that's running really well. Let's throw on a little bit of scaling, because then I want to do a little bit of wattage scaling, see what we can do here. So we'll throw in a little bit of XESS, just a little bit. Don't need a lot. Can never find it. There it is. Go XESS quality, which is just a little bit, to be honest. And big jump to performance. Right now we're at 20 FPS, so around 25% performance boost. It's obviously quite good. And this is a competitive game, so you'd want to be, I would leave on scaling, turn it up. Now, one of the things to be considerate of here, on a 1600p screen, you can use more scaling and have it look better. The lower the base resolution that is going to be output on the screen, like a 1080p screen or 1200p screen, you don't want to use like ultra performance scaling because it starts to look bad. The higher the resolution, the more scaling you can use. At a 4K screen, like you can easily get away with performance on like anything, really. Right? When you get into 1440p, 1600p, you can often still use performance. Sometimes you go down to balanced. 1080p, it's kind of like balanced or quality where you want to be at. But yeah, you can see here. So anyways, so let's come in here, we'll check the watts. So that's 35, that's full watts. Around 90-ish. 30 to 35 watts was a little bit. That's 84. Yeah, I mean, it is giving us a decent jump. It's like 6 or 7%. Pretty good. I mean, it's good regardless, but now let's go down to 25. These wattage don't mean anything, by the way. It's just MSI Afterburner doesn't know how to read the Intel GPU. So even at 25 watts, we're still above 60. Let's go down even further. 20 watts. Let's see what we get here. 20 watts. Still above 60 at 20 watts. 20 watts is like I'm on the plane and I want to play for hours. Go down even further. 15 watts. 15 watts here. Even at 15 watts, we're still at 50 FPS. That's Steam Deck watts. 10. Now, it will drop when you go down to 10. It typically does. There you go. Yeah. So there's a pretty big jump between 10 and 15. 10, I typically find in a lot of games with like respectable settings, you're able to pull off like a decent 30 FPS. Of course, you can turn down the settings turn up the scaling and you can get, 60 and that kind of stuff. But, like a respectable setting, you can often get by with like a 30 FPS type experience at 10 watts, which is crazy if you think about it. Just 10 watts is nothing, right? Go up again to 15. So it's a huge jump, like a really big jump. Let's play for a minute with 15 watts. 15 watts at 1600p. We haven't turned down the resolution. We have scaling. We haven't turned it down. Let's throw on a touch more scaling. Again, at 1600p, I have no problem using balanced scaling, like at all. It's going to look fine, and it will give us an extra little bit of performance, right? Close to 60. And again, this is medium, it's not low. But if you're just playing for like, you want super long battery life, sure. Pretty good. It's a competitive game, so people would typically turn it down a little bit and get higher performance. Okay, so one thing we'll do here. So 1200p with balanced scaling, and everything else is still the same. And look at that performance, right? Right, and so, yeah, this is, again, 15 watts, look, right? 15 watts, 1200p with some scaling. It was fine on 1600p. It was just fine, but it was, 45 or 50. It's running incredibly well. And again, this is 15 watts. I can't hear the handheld at all over the sound of the game. It's completely inaudible. All right, let's now turn it up here. Just play for a minute with high watts now, and then we'll go to the next game. Like, look at that. Again, this is 1200p, so that's why the performance is even higher than 1600p. But you can see that 1600p we were getting, what was it, 80? I think it was 80 FPS with this setting, and now we're getting 100. So we are getting more FPS, but it was good regardless, right? We'll do a little Hogwarts. We'll do, this one's weird. So that's 1200p native in Hogsmeade, which is a really hard area to run. Give it a sec to do its little algo calcs. Yeah, 45 FPS. Now, I've said this a million times in every video that I do when I play this game. I play this game often on my Series X and PS5, and there's a mode there, if you have a 120 Hz screen, that's called balanced mode. And it balances fidelity and FPS, and it runs at around 50 FPS, 45 to 50 FPS. So that's actually how I play, because it looks pretty good and it runs pretty good. I don't want 30, and I don't want a muddy 60. So yeah, this runs fine. 1200p, no scaling, just native. What more could you want from a freaking handheld, right? Come over here. We will throw on scaling. Now, XeSS in this game is, where are you? It doesn't have, there we go. It doesn't have issues with like shimmer and that kind of stuff when you use XeSS, which is nice. Give it a sec there. So the bushes won't have shimmer. It won't look muddy and Vaseline-y with a reasonable amount. If you throw on like ultra performance, yeah, it'll look bad. But you can see there, like all these are stable, just with quality scaling. So this game I highly recommend scaling, XeSS, because it looks fantastic. You cannot tell that it's on a small amount. I've tested this so many times. At all. Like even pixel hunting, you're going to be hard pressed to find issues with it. And it runs so much faster. See, there's no shimmer, no line. Look at these fine lines. Stable as the day they were built. Yeah, XeSS good. XeSS real good. So use it. So it runs fine. So this is medium preset with quality scaling. That's all, my friends. That's all. And look at that performance. Very hard to run area. Let's do a little bit of Wattage Scaling. We won't do a ton, but this game I think people actually like. It's still really popular. It's Harry Potter. No change going to 30. It's not a super CPU heavy game, So that's one of the nice things. It's very GPU heavy, this game. So you're usually hitting, some games you hit both really hard. This game, you really are hitting the GPU quite hard. So when you decrease the watts, it doesn't drop off as much because you're not choking both at the same time. This is 25 watts, 65 FPS. Again, no frame gen, none of that kind of stuff here. 20 watts, and you're going to still be getting a 60 experience. Let's reset that. Still going to be getting a 60 experience. And this is Hogsmeade. It's very hard to run. Now, I don't want to do too much of this in this video, but this is an AMD Strix Halo 388. I'm actually running it on a ProArt laptop, so it'll be around the same performance as you'd get on other AMD Strix Halo 388s, specifically the X2 Mini Pro, if you're thinking about that, from OneXPlayer. And then, of course, on the left, we have the Intel. So I'm later going to compare the X2 Mini Pro versus the OneXPlayer 3 when both of my purchases come in and do much more of this type of testing, but this still gives us a good idea of what's going on here. We can see here on the left, we have quality scaling at 20 watts in the same game, same medium settings, and good lows, obviously. On the right here, we have the Strix Halo, and we're running at the same number of watts, 20 watts, but we're using actually more scaling, balanced XeSS, because quality wasn't really enough to get those lows up. And you can see here, even with the discrepancy in scaling, we're looking at a performance difference between them. If you, of course, increase the balanced scaling on Intel, you would get more performance, but it just wasn't necessary. We were over 60 with quality. 15 will be a big drop, but it should still be quite playable. Right? 45. Let's do a run. A low run. Again, 45 FPS, 15 watts, 1200p, medium, not low, with a little bit of scaling. Not even like balanced or performance. This is quality scaling. It's exceptionally good. I mean, this game is kind of an Intel showcase. It just runs so well on Intel hardware. It always has. It also runs really well on AMD, just so you know. It actually does not run well on NVIDIA. It's very much an AMD and Intel showcase, like tech demo, almost being like, hey, look, VRAM's important. Look how great this looks. We're running at 15 watts. You can do 10, but you're going to want to probably, increase the scaling and that kind of stuff. But look at this. 10. You get a little bit of sec to kick in. So that's 10 watts. We're still getting 30 with good lows, right? 30 FPS, good lows. You can play games at 30. I mean, if you're using higher watts, I wouldn't want to, but for 10 watts, medium. Watch this. Watch this, my friends. And this is one of the hardest run areas in the game to run. This little courtyard here. Look at that kitty. It's basically giving you 60 on average, because in there it'll be a little below 60, a little be above 60 out here, but it'll basically be 60 average. And look at the lows, 40. It's very good. Let's go over here, just get my hands out of there. It's really, 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 really good. We are at peak watts, but again, this is 1600p. So the reason I'm doing so much 1600p, like people want to know how this chip runs in 1200p, because a lot of the handhelds will be 1200p, but this is a review and test of the X2, right? So it's super high resolution, 1600p. People want to know, can I run games on the native resolution? And of course, can we run at 1200p? And the answer is very yes, right? It's a very powerful CPU, very powerful GPU. It's more than up to the task of doing 1600p. Some games like this, these are benchmark titles. Yeah, you're gonna need some scaling. But I'm not on ultra low. I don't have frame gen on. I don't have ultra performance scaling. I just have a little bit. Just a little bit. Just because I want to be at 60. It's not bad. Now, another thing that you might want to do. I do this sometimes. I don't know. I feel kind of... This is the way that I do things. I actually go to low. I don't always do this, but sometimes I do. And then I actually turn some things up to like high. So I go effects up to high, foliage quality up to high because it just looks good, and textures. So like everything's low, and then I turn 3 things up to high, because those are the things you're looking at. Textures, like the textures of things, foliage, plants, and materials and that kind of stuff. And it really doesn't affect performance that much. You lose a little bit because you've turned things up to high now, but you've mitigated that by turning a few things down to low. And like the water still looks pretty good, right? The fog still looks pretty good, all that kind of stuff. You actually get more fog when you turn those settings up, just so you know. That's why it's harder to run. But we're still getting around 60 FPS. And the game now, like when you come in here and you start like hunting textures, it looks really good. Because a lot of the game is on high now. Like a lot of the textures and things that you are looking at, the surfaces are now high. And it looks very good. This is typically how I play this game. I do a mixed preset. I do it on most games, but I really do it here because it makes a big difference for how the game looks. I mean, again, this is almost like a tech demo for the X2. It's just really showing how powerful this handheld is. This is just crazy. And people compare this handheld to the this chip here, sorry, to the 4050, and it is around the 4050. That's actually pretty close. But yeah, VRAM on the 4050 is 6 gigabytes. It's not hard to exceed 6 gigabytes of VRAM these days. And just watch the 4050 crumble, whereas this will not. Let's continue. Okay, so we're going to do some, what is this game called? Crimson Dessert. Cherry Pie is a personal preference of mine. Yeah, so we get here. Now this game, when it first came out, didn't even run on Intel. Like, the developers were like, what is Intel? And then everyone was like, and then they were like, all right, we'll do that. So glad to see that it's working. And this game is broken. It doesn't matter if you use NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel. Scaling is broken. You get weird shadow flickers like crazy. I was hoping that it had been fixed when I tested this way back when it came out on a bunch of stuff, but it hasn't. Let's put it that way. It has not. That's unfortunate, right? That is actually unfortunate. And again, it doesn't matter what hardware you're using. So we're on low. We'll go native to start here. And as you can see, we're turned up. It's not going to play well. We're at also 1600p. So we can just turn the resolution down. But it's not bad, but you can see the shadows and that. They're still like weirdly flickery on low. You have to like turn this game up to like high to get rid of these shadow flickers. I don't know what it is about this game, man. I don't know what it is. People like it. It's probably fun. But the developers like made this sweet game. They were just like, also completely F the visuals. Oh, you have like a 5090? Doesn't matter. It's just so stupid. But I mean, this is okay. I guess 1600p native. We're like not playable, but it's giving us something, something to work with. Come back here. We will throw in some scaling. Let's go. Let's turn it up like a decent amount. We're not going to use FSR. We're going to use XeSS. XeSS was actually broken when it first came out. It looks like it's running now. Let's turn it up higher. I'll just get like, see what we can get here. Yep. Now that should get us very playable. Yeah, it's very playable now. Again, 1600 play, 1600p. Can we not? Photo mode? Jeez. You see how it's all flickery there? That's just, if you're on low in this game, it doesn't matter what hardware you're on, like I said, it doesn't matter. You get that weirdness. So, yeah, I mean, you could deal with it. Be on low, 1600p. It's not great. But that was not great. So, the way that I would play, and it doesn't matter what, again, what chip you're on, you're going to have to turn it up. So we're going to go 1200p. Let's turn off scaling to start, just get an idea. And the reason I'm doing this is going to allow us to just get higher FPS without using scaling beforehand. Then we're going to come in here, we're actually going to turn up the settings. Unfortunately, we kind of have to do this. You might be able to like go through bit by bit and like turn up lighting, turn up ray tracing, turn down textures, which I'll try in a sec. Typically the game does crash when you increase the settings as well. So it's probably going to kill, and then it'll have to come back into the game. I'm only testing this game because it's very challenging, but specifically because people have asked me to test it. When a game is completely broken at baseline, no matter what hardware you test it on, AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, high-end, low-end, it kind of turns it into not a good benchmark for me. But I guess people want to know, like, yeah, the game's broken, but it's fun, so can I even play it? So that's fair. Like, yeah, we'll see if we can get it working, despite the fact that it's, like, completely borked. Because, I mean, apparently it's a really fun game. It's just broken at the, like, developer level. Ugh. I don't think... Was this game written by AI? Like, legitimately? Was a lot of this game written by AI? It just has an AI feel to it. It's like... It took some Assassin's Creed and some of this and the music. It just feels like it's written by AI. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And maybe I'm just like an AI hater. But I really feel like this game is written by AI. I don't know, man. It is what it is. I don't want to take people's fun from them. I'm just an old man, right? Just old man yells at clouds. Okay, so see the lighting is massively fixed by turning it up. Unfortunately, you got to do it. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. You throw it in low, and the shadows are like meow, meow, meow. So when you turn it up, it becomes harder to run, right? So here now we're at 1200p with a ton of scaling just to fix the shadows. And again, it has nothing to do with what hardware you're on. If you are on low or even medium, the shadows are borked. So you have to turn them up, which means it's harder to run. And this game's hard to run in baseline. So it's playable though, right? 40 FPS. It's not like you can't play a game at 40. Like these games typically run at like 30 on a lot of consoles these days. Switch 2 and even some of the modern consoles. So it's definitely playable. You're not going to have a bad time. Now, I mean, I don't want to test everything, but I'm going to quickly, because I'm curious for my own self, come in here and see what we can fix. I can't read that. What does that say? What if we turn it down to low and I see if I can, it's probably going to break. Turn the reflections back up to high, lighting back up to high, and foliage? Like, is that going to help with the weird, like, moving things? Or maybe shadows. I don't even know, man. What would it be here? Let's just turn the lighting crap up. So we're going to have lighting, shadows on high, lighting on high, reflection. It won't be reflections. It'll be high, high. Foliage density might matter because maybe it's not showing, but I think that's ground foliage. So let's turn that back down. So we're going to turn shadows and lighting up to high. We're going to leave everything else on low. It's probably going to crash. Oh my god, it didn't crash. And let's see if that fixes the flicker. Oh, it does. Oh, okay, so there you go. All right, so sometimes using my brain is good. Okay, so you can actually fix it. Throw it on low preset on whatever hardware you have that's medium level hardware. If you have low end hardware, you probably just throw everything in low and just cry. It is what it is. But if you throw it on low everything and then turn those two lighting settings up, it gets rid of that where the shadows were just going crazy. Now, scaling still doesn't look great, whatever type you use, and there's some issues, but it is a pretty big jump in performance in terms of the average. Again, we're not at 60, 70, but I would say this is probably going to be a lot more playable for a lot of people, right? Like, this is actually pretty decent. You're sitting at around 50-ish. Yeah, it's not bad, actually. So you just have to play with the settings. Don't come in here and use a preset. And if you have an AMD handheld, again, same idea. Just come in here. Now I know how I can probably test this thing going forward. Turn everything to low for handhelds, and then you can turn up a couple settings to medium or high. If you have a desktop GPU that's not also super powerful, maybe do something similar, just so you know. And now it runs fine. Let's just turn. Oops, oh, I forgot that he does that. That's so stupid. Let's turn this scaling a little bit here. Come up here. So that's 50. Oh, thanks for zooming in on that tree. Yeah, there's no performance difference between 50 and 55. Well, there's 2 FPS. It's like 3% or 2%. It's almost margin of error. Let's go down to 25. Oh wow, it's maintaining it at a lower watt, that's good to see. The bottleneck, I don't know where the bottleneck would be then as a result. 20? Yeah, so 20 is a drop. 20 is a drop. So it looks like you can absolutely do... 20 is actually serviceable too, to be honest. But 25 is like a pretty decent sweet spot there. Because the performance actually went up a lot. So, but yeah, you're not going to be pulling off 50. At low watts, you're not going to be pulling off 60 at high watts. But yeah, this might be a title where you can definitely do the lower watt stuff and get by with it, but this is going to be a title where you're probably going to want to push it as much as possible. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just being an old man yells at clouds because the game is completely borked in terms of an optimization. But if it's super fun and then you don't care, then play it and enjoy it. That's how it should be. Okay, the eternal benchmark game, Cyberpunk. One of these days I will beat Phantom Liberty. I beat the game, then Phantom Liberty came out, I bought it, and I sit in this area to benchmark it. Anyway, so we're on medium, and we're on medium native, just to get a baseline. At 1600p, by the way. This is very impressive for a little APU. 1600p native. In Dogtown, which is incredibly hard to run. All right, you can see, oops, we're at high watts there. Oops, what did I do? touch the screen. Okay, so a little bit of scaling will get it done here, and this game has XeSS and it looks great. It's been there for a long time. It's XeSS 2, that's the only negative, not XeSS 3. I wonder when they'll update that. Not low, this is medium, with some scaling. That's it. So we just basically throw in some XeSS. And at 1600p, get out the way, you won't be able to tell that it's on, really, because there'll be no fine line jank or anything like that with XeSS. Right? It doesn't become Vaseline like FSR 3 or FSR 2. We end up maintaining nice stable, that's the term, stable lines, no shimmer, no flicker. So you can use it, and you should use it. And again, this is Dogtown, which is really hard to run. So we're going to go like that. We're going to go 1200p. It'll look fine too. We can turn down a lot of that scaling. Let's just put it down to quality for now. You could probably go lower, to be honest. Okay. So let's go maybe like that, so you can actually see what I'm looking at here. Actually, you know what? Let's make it a tougher scene. Let's go like that. So we have all this crap calculating in the background. So we're at 80 FPS, which is obviously very good. Let's do some Wattage scaling. 80 FPS. How about 30? Unchanged. There are a few cases where I've seen a big change between 35 and 35 and 30. Typically, though, you're looking at 5% or so, which is fine. I mean, it's more than a 5% decrease in watts. See, that's 75. We're at 78 there. Yeah, it's 5 FPS, 4 to 5 FPS, so it's a few percent, single-digit percentage. Okay, let's skip right over. We'll go all the way down to 25. Should be a little bit of a drop here. 68. That's pretty good for 25 watts, right? Very good. I'm being pedantic. Very good, right? Let's go down to 20. Still going to maintain 60 at 20 watts. That's pretty good. Remember, no frame gen, no... Like, I don't have ultra performance scaling, low, anything like that. Like, this is a very respectable setting here. Let's go down to 15. I think it's going to be a big drop at 15, but I think it's still going to be playable. Yeah. 45 FPS. Let's see if it can maintain. I don't think it's going to maintain. So, this is... Let's just show you this again. This is 15 watts. Okay? 15 watts in Cyberpunk. 1200p with a little bit of scaling. No frame gen, and we're not even on low, we're on medium. And you're going to get like 40 to 45 FPS. This game runs at 30 on the Switch at 15 watts. People were like, oh my god, it runs at 30 FPS on the Switch. It's like incredible that it even runs. It's only using 15 watts. And I'm like, bruh, this is 15 watts and it's running at 45 FPS. I think it's the same. Actually, this is higher resolution. The Switch is 1080p, or is it 1200p? I can't remember. Anyways, it's running better. We'll put it that way. It's a much more powerful CPU and GPU than the Switch. So that makes sense. That's why it's 25% faster. Let's go down even lower. It's not going to run great at 10 watts, but it should be like borderline functional. You'd want to turn up scaling and that kind of stuff, but let's see. I mean, that's 10 watts and it's still running at, Switch baseline. You would want to turn on some scaling. It's close. It's not able to do 30. But it's 10 watts, right? The Switch doesn't run at 10 watts. The Switch runs at 15 watts. So does the deck. Give it a sec for it to calculate its little power. There you go. It takes a sec for the power to figure out what it's going to do there. It's 15 watts, man. Come on. And again, I could make it probably run better if I went... let's not go that way. Let's go this way. If I went low... I'm going to turn up the scaling. I wouldn't do this, but this is just a proof of point. Right, you can just make sure it's leveled up. You're on a plane or you're on a train, you're like, man, I really want to play on battery, and 15 watts is very respectable. It'll give you hours of gameplay. But you want decent FPS, right? You just play with the settings. And then if you're not on that and you plug it into the wall, just crank it up. Okay, it's been a long time since I benched Baldurs Gate, so let's do it. I mean, obviously it's an incredible game. So we're at 1600p. Throw in balance scaling. We'll need it. It's a pretty hard to run game. 1600p medium and balance scaling. And that should give us a pretty good... Yeah, it's not bad. Now I don't want to spoil the game. I'm at a point where it's very hard to run, put it that way, as you can see. You know, the frames drop when you're moving around. That's normal though. This game is very hard to run, even on top spec hardware. It's very CPU heavy. So you could decrease resolution to like 1200p, but it just looks crisp. It's like a game where you're really going to be taking your time looking at stuff because it's turn-based. Well, like this part's action, like live, but the combat is turn-based, for example. And yeah, you can turn it down, you can turn it up. But this is kind of where I would be comfortable, you know, sitting around 60 FPS. When you do stuff, the lows will drop down. It's just the way Baldur's Gate is. Yeah, like you do like an effect here, for example. Let's do like a... It'll make the lows drop down. You cast a spell or something. Drops the lows down. That's good though, actually. It's doing pretty well. It's maintaining over 60, which is nice to see. Yeah, it seems to be running pretty well, actually. It's right. I've played this game in a long time, and I love this game, so it sucks you in. It's running fine. It's running fine. So 1600p, this is going to be the type of game where you're going to play at 1600p. You could do 1200p, but you know, this big screen here, yeah, just play at 1600p. You're more likely to be, I mean, it is GPU heavy still, but you're more likely to get really slammed by the, you're more likely to get slammed by the CPU and GPU at the same time, and it does hit the CPU really hard, even in high resolution scenarios. It's just a lot of people like Gamers Nexus and that use this as a CPU benchmark for obvious reasons, because it really does just hit the CPU so hard, but it runs very well.